By late 1944, the Third Reich was teetering on the brink of collapse. After devastating defeats on the Eastern Front against the Soviets and the Allied landings in Normandy, Germany was forced into a defensive posture. Adolf Hitler, ever the gambler, believed a bold counteroffensive could shatter the fragile Western alliance between the United States, Britain, and the Soviet Union. He fixated on the Ardennes region, a rugged, forested area straddling Belgium, Luxembourg, and Germany, as the site for this desperate gamble. The plan, codenamed Operation Wacht am Rhein, aimed to punch through American lines, seize the vital port of Antwerp, and isolate British forces in the north. Success, Hitler fantasized, would buy time for Germany's wonder weapons like the V-2 rocket and jet fighters to turn the tide, or at least force the Western Allies to negotiate separately from Stalin. Hitler's strategy echoed the 1940 blitzkrieg that had overrun France, but conditions were vastly different. Fuel shortages plagued the Wehrmacht, and Allied air superiority loomed as a constant threat. Yet the Ardennes seemed ideal. Its dense woods and harsh winter weather could mask German movements and ground enemy planes. The offensive would involve nearly 30 divisions, around 410,000 men, 1,400 tanks and assault guns, and 2,600 artillery pieces, massed behind the Siegfried Line. The spearhead? The elite 6th SS Panzer Army, commanded by SS Oberstgruppenführer Josef Sepp Dietrich, a loyal Hitler crony with limited tactical acumen but fanatical troops. German generals, including Field Marshals Gerd von Rundstedt and Walter Model, viewed the plan as delusional. Rundstedt, the overall commander, privately called it Stalingrad No. 2. Hitler, paranoid after the July 1944 assassination attempt, coerced compliance through intimidation. On December 11th to 12th, he summoned commanders to his Adlerhorst bunker near Bad Nauheim, stripping them of weapons and briefing them under SS guard. They signed pledges of support, knowing dissent could mean execution. Preparations were shrouded in secrecy. Troops moved at night, radio silence enforced, and fake operations simulated elsewhere to deceive Allied intelligence. The Wehrmacht's arsenal was impressive, if depleted. Panzer divisions featured the formidable Panther and Tiger II, King Tiger tanks, superior in armor and firepower to American Shermans. The Luftwaffe mustered about 2,500 aircraft, including the revolutionary Me-262 jet fighter, though fuel and pilots were scarce. Infantry wielded innovative STG-44 assault rifles and early infrared night vision devices. The Waffen-SS units, like the 1st SS Panzer Division Leibstandarte, SS Adolf Hitler, LSSAH, and the 12th SS Panzer Division Hitlerjugend, were battle-hardened from Normandy but replenished with inexperienced recruits. These ideological warriors, often accused of atrocities, formed the offensive's core. On the Allied side, the Ardennes sector was a quiet front, held by the U.S. First Army under Lieutenant General Courtney Hodges. About 83,000 troops, including green divisions like the 99th and 106th Infantry, were spread thin for rest and refit. Logistical strains from Normandy persisted, with supplies trucking hundreds of miles. Supreme Allied Commander Dwight D. Eisenhower prioritized the Ruhr industrial heartland, underestimating German capabilities. Intelligence dismissed signs of buildup as defensive. The attack erupted at 5:30 a.m. on December 16, 1944, amid fog and snow. Over 1,600 artillery pieces hammered an 80-mile front from Monschau to Echternach. German infantry and armor surged forward in three armies. Dietrich's 6th SS Panzer in the north, aiming for Antwerp. Hasso von Manteuffel's 5th Panzer in the center, targeting the Meuse River crossings, and Erich Brandenberger's 7th Army in the south, providing flank security. Poor roads and weather slowed the panzers, but surprise was total. American units crumbled. Special operations amplified chaos. Otto Skorzeny Panzer Brigade 150, disguised as Americans in captured uniforms and vehicles, infiltrated to seize bridges and sow confusion. They flipped road signs, cut wires, and spread rumors, triggering paranoia. One team even sparked fears of an Eisenhower assassination plot, confining him to his Versailles headquarters. Meanwhile, Colonel Friedrich August von der Heydte's paratroopers jumped behind lines but scattered badly due to inexperience and winds. Only 300 of 1,200 regrouped effectively. In the north, the LSSAH, led by SS Obersturmbannführer Joachim Peiper's Kampfgruppe, spearheaded Dietrich's advance. Peiper's 4,800 men and 117 tanks raced through Hounsfeld and Bullingen, capturing fuel dumps, but traffic jams on narrow trails, exacerbated by overlapping units, delayed them. On December 17th, near Malmedy, Peiper's men captured Battery B of the 285th Field Artillery Observation Battalion. Herded into a field, about 84 Americans were machine-gunned in the infamous Malmedy Massacre, a war crime that fueled Allied rage. Survivors spread the word, leading to no quarter attitudes. Peiper pressed on, reaching Stavelot and La Glaise, but fuel shortages and American resistance stalled him. Engineers blew bridges, and the 82nd Airborne Division dug in. By December 24th, surrounded and out of supplies, Peiper abandoned his vehicles and escaped on foot with 800 men, his force decimated. In the center, Manteuffel's 5th Panzer Army achieved the deepest penetration. The 106th Infantry Division, isolated on the Schnee-Eifel Plateau, surrendered en masse. Over 7,000 POWs, the largest U.S. capitulation in Europe. Bastogne, a key road hub, became a flashpoint. The 101st Airborne Division, under Brigadier General Anthony McAuliffe, rushed in by truck. Surrounded by December 20th, they held against the 5th Panzer's assaults. When Germans demanded surrender on December 22nd, McAuliffe's reply, "Nuts," became legendary. C-47 airdrops sustained them amid brutal cold. To the south, Brandenberger's weaker force bogged down against the 4th Infantry Division. Overall, initial German gains created a 50-mile bulge in Allied lines, but objectives like Antwerp remained distant. Bad weather grounded Allied air support until December 23rd, when clear skies unleashed 5,000 sorties, pulverizing German columns. Eisenhower reacted swiftly, appointing British Field Marshal Bernard Montgomery to command Northern forces and Lieutenant General George S. Patton the South. Patton, pivoting his Third Army 90 degrees in snow, marched 100 miles in 48 hours. On December 26th, his 4th Armored Division relieved Bastogne, though fighting continued. Patton's aggressive style, flanking maneuvers, and armored thrusts reversed the tide. St. Vith, another crossroads, saw heroic defense by the 7th Armored Division under Brigadier General Bruce Clark. Holding until December 23rd, they delayed Manteufel, buying time. When Germans finally took it, their momentum was spent. War crimes marred the battle. Beyond Malmedy, SS units killed civilians in Stavelot and Wereth, where 11 African-American soldiers were tortured and executed. In retaliation, U.S. troops committed atrocities, notably at Chanonia on January 1st, 1945, where the 11th Armored Division executed about 60 German POWs. These acts, though less publicized, underscore war's brutality, revenge cycles fueled by Malmedi's horror. As German fuel dwindled and reserves evaporated, Hitler authorized ancillary operations. Operation Bodenplatte on January 1st, 1945, saw 900 Luftwaffe planes strike Allied airfields, destroying 465 aircraft, but losing 277, mostly to friendly flak and crashes. It crippled German air power irreparably. By mid-January, Allied counterattacks flattened the Bulge. Montgomery's forces pushed from the north, Patton from the south. Hitler withdrew the 6th SS Panzer Army to Hungary, sealing the offensive's failure. The battle ended January 25, 1945, with lines restored. Casualties were staggering. Americans suffered 75,000 to 89,000, including 19,000 killed, the bloodiest U.S. battle of the war. British losses were 1,400, Germans 63,000 to 98,000. The Wehrmacht lost 600 tanks and 1,000 planes, exhausting reserves just as Soviets launched their Vistula-Oder offensive. Analysis reveals Hitler's plan as flawed from inception. Overambitious objectives ignored logistics. Reliance on captured fuel proved fatal. Waffen-SS fanaticism yielded initial gains but couldn't overcome Allied resilience and industrial might. Patton's rapid maneuver exemplified American adaptability, while the 101's stand at Bastogne symbolized grit. The battle hastened Germany's collapse, paving the way for the Rhine crossing and VE Day on May 8, 1945. Yet it wasn't just hardware. Human elements defined it. Peiper's ruthlessness contrasted McAuliffe's defiance. Massacres like Malmedy, prosecuted at Dachau trials with Peiper sentenced to death later commuted, and Chanogne highlight moral erosion. The Ardennes tested alliances. Stalin accused Western delays, but the Bulge's defense solidified resolve. In retrospect, the Battle of the Bulge was Hitler's final throw of the dice, a desperate bid that backfired, accelerating the Third Reich's demise. It remains a testament to endurance in winter's grip, where fog-shrouded forests witnessed heroism and horror alike. Beyond the grand strategies and armored clashes, the Battle of the Bulge exacted a profound human toll that extended far beyond the battlefield. Soldiers on both sides endured sub-zero temperatures, with frostbite claiming thousands of limbs and lives before a single shot was fired. American GIs, many fresh from stateside training, huddled in foxholes dug into frozen earth, sharing meager K-rations and dreaming of home during the Christmas season. German troops, including teenagers from the Hitler Youth and conscripts from occupied territories, faced similar hardships, their fanaticism tempered by the realization that this was a do-or-die effort for the Reich. Civilians in Belgian towns like Bastogne and Malmedy suffered immensely. Homes shelled, families displaced, and innocents caught in crossfire or executed as suspected partisans. The psychological scars lingered for decades, with veterans recounting nightmares of the ghost front, where silence shattered into chaos. One often overlooked aspect was the role of intelligence failures and successes. Allied code breakers at Bletchley Park had intercepted hints of German buildup via ultra-decrypts, but overconfidence and poor weather reconnaissance dismissed them. On the German side, the secrecy was remarkable, but it came at a cost. Units like Peiper's operated with incomplete maps, leading to navigational blunders. Post-battle analysis revealed how small acts of heroism turned the tide. For instance, a handful of engineers at the Amblev River Bridge demolition delayed Peiper's advance by crucial hours, allowing reinforcements to arrive. These unsung heroes, demolition teams, medics braving fire to evacuate wounded, and local resistance fighters guiding Allied patrols, embodied the grit that statistics overlook. The battle also highlighted technological disparities and innovations. While German tanks like the King Tiger dominated one-on-one engagements, their mechanical unreliability and fuel guzzling left many abandoned. American artillery, dubbed time-on-target barrages, coordinated massive salvos that decimated advancing columns. The introduction of proximity fuses on shells increased lethality, shredding infantry. In the air, the Me-262's speed outmatched Allied fighters, but production delays and pilot shortages limited impact. These tech elements foreshadowed post-war developments, influencing Cold War designs like the M60 Patton tank, named after the general himself. Politically, the Bulge strained the Grand Alliance. Stalin, suspicious of Western delays, accelerated his own offensives, capturing Budapest by February 1945. Churchill and Roosevelt reassured him at Yalta, but the battle underscored the race to Berlin. For Hitler, it was the final delusion. His refusal to retreat echoed 1918's Kaiserschlacht, accelerating collapse. In the U.S., the shock led to draft expansions and war bond drives, rallying public support. Legacy-wise, the Ardennes endures in popular culture through films like Battle of the Bulge, 1965, and Band of Brothers episodes. Memorials dot the region from the Martissant Monument in Bastogne to the Malmedy massacre site. It teaches timeless lessons, the perils of underestimation, the power of adaptability, and war's indiscriminate cruelty. As one veteran put it, in the Bulge, we didn't fight for glory. We fought to survive the cold, the fear, and each other. Analysis reveals Hitler's plan as flawed from inception. Overambitious objectives ignored logistics. Reliance on captured fuel proved fatal. Waffen-SS fanaticism yielded initial gains, but couldn't overcome Allied resilience and industrial might. Patton's rapid maneuver exemplified American adaptability, while the 101 stand at Bastogne symbolized grit. The battle hastened Germany's collapse, paving the way for the Rhine crossing and VE Day on May 8, 1945. Yet, it wasn't just hardware. Human elements defined it. Peiper's ruthlessness contrasted McAuliffe's defiance. Massacres like Malmedy, prosecuted at Dachau trials with Peiper sentenced to death, later commuted, and Chenogne highlight moral erosion. The Ardennes tested alliances. Stalin accused Western delays, but the Bulge's defense solidified resolve. In retrospect, the Battle of the Bulge was Hitler's final throw of the dice, a desperate bid that backfired, accelerating the Third Reich's demise. It remains a testament to endurance in winter's grip, where fog-shrouded forests witnessed heroism and horror alike.